you ever wondered about when you start to do something, like this goes in the realm of planning and like not exercising, crafting. So it's like when I'm working on a project and I'm not an expert, my bandwidth between expert and beginner is huge. There's a lot of things that I don't account for when I'm making things, like properly planning or proper measurements or getting the right measurements, measuring twice, cutting once, buying once, not 5 times, because there's like that threshold that of unknown in between your idea to implementation. There's always a bandwidth. It's like even when you get to the highest expert that you can be, there's still a bandwidth of implementation and all that action. So what I'm trying to say is there's that bandwidth. I'm talking about the void within. And so if you're not crafty like me, you can try to raise the bar. And what raises the bar is like technology or it's an and/or operator of the backbones of the works of people before you, the community before you. So like this world has just built with the technologies, obviously, or the expertise, like guiding you. So like the shepherd or the apprentice, the master and the apprentice type thing, where it's like they have brought you up to speed. So then when you start to implement, there's little chaos or little bandwidth in between. It's the order to order, but the chaos in between. It's just a chaos sandwich. And I want to talk about that, as how interesting that piece is realizing that is always going to be there. So, because I feel like a lot of people get frustrated in between because I recently built this floating shelf, almost floating, because I used the wrong type of nails. I used the wrong type of wood. I didn't want to do the full process. I wanted to do the process where I was like, I want it to be this way, but it's like you have to walk through the process in order for it to work, or buy the right stuff, like where the wood's not bending, or I didn't cut it with a table saw. I just cut it with just a rip saw or a circular saw, or however you say it. And so there left a little edge, and so there all of these little things, these details, like fell between me, you know what I mean? Because I was like, frustrated, like why isn't this working, and fun stuff like that. But I realized, like, you have to realize that there's that void in between, that abyss in between, the chaos in between, where it's like when you say start, the resistance is in between, in that little sandwich of chaos, because you're not accounting for it. You won't be able to account for it, but just because there's a huge bandwidth doesn't mean you have to stop. So 2 things, like don't stop because there's a bandwidth, but learn how to bring the bar up, or learn to just skip the rung, where when you skip the rung, like for instance, like I realize it's going to take me a while to get better at handcrafting, and how I do that is over a period of time continue to do it and continue to seek improvement, to think about how can I do this better. It's a natural inclination from a human to just kind of like think of, if you do it long enough, the frustrations that gap causes you to squeeze the gap, to be more efficient. And so when you raise the bar, that's why it's like I am proficient. My bar over here is with computers, to a level of proficiency that I get asked a lot to help with computers. And so boom, that's how I know I'm proficient. It's one check and balance of it. And so also to add to that point, like what's it called, we like do that, boom, and then that allows us to the proficiency says, like, okay, there is a computer aided drawing, boom, proficient, boom. I'm going to use the computer aided stuff and be better than it would take me to like draw lines and then use the tools and understand, even though I like that. So then when it's like cutting, there's it's basically, the CNCs, like, the gantry systems that are computer aided in a way, that allow us, and then I get proficient in those because it fits the proficiency that I'm already with, instead of going through, long time of being a master and an apprentice. So that's kind of the goal between, and that's something to look at and realize. It's like, don't get frustrated at that. You know why? Because it's going to happen. There's nothing that will stop that from happening, and you just have to enjoy that part of the process, because if you want to do it again, then your sandwich will be a little thinner and you will be more grinner. All right, be a winner. All right, peace.